My neighbor's mowing their lawn, so I'm gonna go close the window real quick. Alright, take 3. So, the first time I did this, there was somebody walking by my window, and they heard me talking, and they looked at me, and I just kind of stopped, because it was kind of awkward. Anyway, welcome to my messy room. Oh, wait, you can't see the mess. It's quite a big mess. But this video is all about my custom craft desk. So, I was thinking to myself, I had a bunch of video ideas for this channel and I didn't know what to do. And then I thought, well, I wish I could film things a little bit better, because like I don't want things to be too oversimplified, because I feel like that's something that I need to work on. And so I thought to myself, like, what would make this easier? And I thought, I need a better place to film, so I need to make a new craft desk. And so that's what I did. I made my own custom craft desk, built it myself. Shout out to my dad for letting me use his power tools and saws and nails and wood and stuff. So let me show you. This is my old desk, in case any of you are wondering. It now belongs to my sister. But here is the desk. It's quite lovely and quite big, as you may be able to tell. I can probably sleep under here because it's so big. If you're thinking about building a craft desk by yourself, or if you're thinking about getting a custom craft desk, I would recommend, if you're not planning on having someone else build it for you as a commission, I would recommend, if you're going to build it yourself with, you know, wood and tools and such, that you watch tutorials and safety videos. That's what I did. I knew next to nothing about woodworking before I made this. I did make my old desk, but it's not really good. It's just boards nailed and screwed together. But this one, I learned all about like wood and how to use like table saws and band saws and circular saws and all the saws and dado blades and such, and I knew nothing about that before this. I am not a woodworker, which is why I didn't make a tutorial on how to make this desk. I made this whole desk out of scrap wood. It was just wood that we had on hand, and it turned out really good. As you can see, it doesn't look like it's made out of scrap wood, but the cubbies are made out of a pine and oak, and I don't know what the top is. I thought it was cedar, but I actually really don't know. It smells like Lincoln logs, so if you know what Lincoln logs are made out of, please tell me, and that's probably what it's made out of. But I love this tabletop. It is so pretty. I don't know if you can see this. I picked the worst possible lighting or time of day for making this video. But the cubbies are painted white, and well, they're actually not painted white. They're painted with a mix of white, Swiss coffee, and pink beige, and it came out white, and I really like that because I was going for white, but we didn't have any extra white paint, and well, I said we had Swiss coffee, but I didn't have enough of it, so I just mixed it with some pink beige, and it came out really pretty. It's really nice, and I kept the tabletop red. Let me lower the lighting so it's like, so I kept the tabletop red. It was stained a darker red, but I sanded it down so it would be kind of uniform, and it's really nice. It's really soft. I am not sure if I'm gonna stain it or finish it yet, because I don't know much about that stuff yet, and I don't want to ruin what I spent a week making. I also made this thing, which I'll show you what it is in later, and but basically it's just like 3 pieces of wood, 1, 2, 3, and 2 wooden dowels at the top, and these are made so they'll come out of one end kind of like a toilet paper roll, and I'll show you why later. So I've got 5 cubbies on each side, so that's a total of 10 cubbies. I've got 2, well actually I've got 4 1 foot by 1 foot cubbies. I think they're 1 foot by 1 foot. But there's 2 on the bottom, 2 on the top, and in the middle I have a 2 foot by 1 foot cubby. And it's the same on the other side. So I wasn't originally planning on having these 2 pieces of wood here. I was just going to have another solid wall. But that's what we had, and I actually like this a lot better. Here we have this drawer, or this little shelf, and this is made, I measured this precisely so that I could fit my drawing board in here. My parents got me a drawing board for Christmas so that I could use it for my paintings and watercolors, but I didn't have a lot of room to put it. It was kind of just in the way, so I made this little drawer so I can just store it in there when I'm not using it, and yeah. Here I have my sewing machine. She gets the table all to herself. Well, I mean, there's also this, but we'll get to that in a minute. I'm sorry if my hair is distracting. It's kind of floppy right now. But anyway, here, this is my Bernina, and it's plugged in down there, and I really love how much space I have. I know it's kind of hard to tell from this angle. It's a weird angle. Maybe I can hoist the camera up a little. That's attractive. Okay. But this is my desk. It's so fun. So this is the desk space I have. This is 4 feet by 2 feet. So it's not like a giant cutting table, but it works for sewing. And I know I've said this a million times, but I just love this wood. It is so, so pretty. If you couldn't have guessed what the dowels are for, now you know. They are for ribbon. I got this inspiration from when I was in the play Brigadoon. We had Fiona and what's her sister's name? They were selling ribbon at the beginning of the play, and they had it on this big long little stick they held up, and I was like, oh, that's so cool, I want to do that. So that was my inspiration for this little ribbon rack. Everything's organized in rainbow order. It's mostly yellow and gold though. I've also got my laces and trims here. I think they are gorgeous. And then I decided to put my boning and my embroidery hoops on the end. So the dowel comes apart. It's a bit wobbly, but it works. The dowel comes apart over here, so I can just take these off if I need to. But the I guess that doesn't want to stay, of course. But the ribbon I can just do this and then cut it when I need it. So I don't have to like take them off every time I need to use it. So I can just cut it whenever I want. And down here I've got my, I don't know what they're called, just like office supplies. This is my paintbrush mug. This is my scissors and sharp tools mug. It's mostly scissors, but I've also got like some utility knives and some scoring tools. I also have a fork for making fork plates. And then I've got my pencils and markers and highlighters and such. And then I've got my tape, my erasers, some hole punches, and a little pencil sharpener that looks like an owl. Down here is where I keep all my big things. So this is the drawing board drawer I told you about. But I also got to fit more things in it. So my drawing board is here. There's a few wooden dowels. These are just extras I had, and I just store those right there. I've got my pattern paper here. I've got a few canvases back here, and then there's some cardboard and some more cardboard that I use for like gluing and painting. So that's that drawer. Is my sewing cubbies. These are the cubbies on the right side. And I've got a lot of stuff down here. I've got some books. Let me see if I can focus. There we go. So I've got some lots of notebooks. These are mostly just stories I've written and just like doodles and stuff. And then I've got a few binders. As you can see, they're kind of shoved up there, but like I get them in there by like taking them. I just slide them and then they can come out. It's kind of hard to explain, but it works. So that's all that matters. And then back here, I've just got some random stuff. I've got my blow dryer, which I use for drying paint. I've got some polyfill back here and some parchment paper for glue. And down here on the second shelf, this is where I keep all my fabric cabbage and fabric for mock-ups. I do not have a place for my regular fabric because my grandma is planning on giving me her cedar chest and I was going to store it in there. So that might be a upcoming video, we'll see. Then I've got my sewing box. It's quite darling. It's got a bunch of cats on it. I've got my pin cushions, my pins. They're on this little magnet board. And then I've got this little container where I keep just random stuff. There's a bunch of these little clips, which I can use to clip fabrics. I didn't mean to put my stapler down here. My measuring tape. I've got some safety pins, fabric pencils, and liquid stitch. So that's that. And then next to my sewing box, I've got my Grommet Setting Kit. This is a box where I keep all my thread. I've got my machine oil, and then this little box that has all my Bernina essentials, all the foots and the parts and stuff. Alright, and down here I've got my garbage can, so yeah. Behind my desk I've got a portfolio, and I've got some gift bags. Those are just random things, but they just go there. We'll just pretend that they don't exist. It's kind of hard to see down here. It's quite dark in this area, but I will try my best. I have this little bin where I keep all my patterns, so oops, didn't mean to do that. And then I've got this like wooden thing. It's like the little attachment to the sewing machine, but I don't really need it at the moment. Sorry. And then down here, I'm just so sorry about the lighting, but we've got some more fabric. These are just like clothes that I need to sew or mend. There's just like some old stuff. And then in this box, I've got my rotary cutter. On to the right-hand cubbies. In this one, we have just a woven basket. It's got mostly string and some serger thread. There's a magnifying glass here. I don't keep it up on the top with my other tools because I'm just worried that like the sun will come in and shine through and burn something and burn my house down. I don't know. It's I just keep it there. Here I've got my paints. I've got this little crate and it's got my acrylic paints and my all my paints. I've got some painting tape, my little paint mixing thing, watercolors, and then there's like a little rag here for wiping up the paint. We've got a lot of things on the second shelf. I've got some paper plates for mixing paint. I have this little basket and it's got like just some more random tools. We've got like pliers, and then there's this box that has like floral wire. This box has like nails and wall hanging stuff. I've got some clay sculpting tools, a stencil, a protractor, mini screwdrivers. I've got my 3D pen. This is my little, this is a little paper tray. I usually keep like reference pictures in here. I've got these perler bead creations. I don't really know what to do with them at the moment. This is where I mostly keep like all my watercolors and paintings that I like. These are just the paintings that are unfinished, or the ones that I kind of didn't like as much. And then I keep my watercolors in here, or my finished watercolor paintings. I've got some random mini iPad stuff, iPad mini. I've got like a case and a Adobe Ink and Slide, so if anybody just has an extra iPad mini, I don't know. I don't have one, but I got these from somebody and I would like to use them sometime. I've got some notebooks, some blank notebooks. This is a toolkit, some blank canvases, some blank watercolor paper, and then I think the rest is just blank watercolor paper. Bottom is where I keep my craft supplies. I've got I've got a box. I've got two boxes. One is full of like different types of glue and one is full of different types of beads, and this is full of rubber bands. I've got my big bottle of tacky glue. I use that a lot. I've got some spray varnish. I've got a bunch of glitter. This is leftover from my Elsa dress, and then I've got some random fabric dye. And then over here, I've got my even bigger toolkit. It's just got like a bunch of, like, it's got like hammers and screwdrivers and, you know, just that stuff. I've got a old Pyrex, and I use this for mixing glue or water when I'm painting. So it's quite dirty, but that's the reason why. I've got more glitter. I've got more stencils back here. I've got some, well, these were actually punch outs from this wood project that my mom had, and she gave me them, and I use them as stencils because you can make like trees with them, maybe. And I've got this surprise toy box my friend gave me for my birthday. It's mostly for kids, but I really enjoyed it. It's got some fun things. And then this is just a box of crafting materials. I've got sandpaper in here, some popsicle sticks, flowers, spray paint, gold leafing, some goose feathers, and some rocks, and some seashells. So, yeah, that's all of that stuff. And then we can get to organizing. No, my painting! It's okay. Don't worry. They're fine.